And we're back on Saturday More Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang. That's all I got to say. I mean, granted, I do need a paycheck. So, I'll keep talking as long as y'all need me to keep talking. But I know it's probably better if y'all actually, talk about sports than me just ramble on and keep going.
All right,
'Cause,
we got you.
There we go.
I want to see how long you keep
I got
going,
you.
JP.
I was listening to can't play it over the air because it's a little bit of the language, but Terry, you'd like to watch the video. It's Des Bryant talking about his life and how it changed contract wise, the people in his life, all because of them not calling that ball a catch.
Mm.
And Jerry Jones, he was talking about Jerry Jones brought it up in contract talks. That's how dirty the game is. You want to know why people or maybe Cowboys aren't successful. Like, if Jerry's bringing that up to hold that against Dez in contract talks, like, how do you even like talk to somebody like that? Like, we all know I caught that ball. It's right now it'd be ruled a catch based on the
Sure
rules.
would.
It should have been ruled a catch before it was.
Should have been
Before it
ruled
was,
then.
everything was. Dak Prescott might not be a Dallas Cowboy if that thing is ruled a catch. They would be in the NFC Championship game. And we're sitting here, and then now and everything else like he said, but I didn't know that Jerry had tried to use that against him, like in negotiations. That, hey, if we'd have caught that ball, you'd have got paid more, or something like that's kind of what he was saying.
Jerry Jones is a master negotiator.
Oh, yeah. And
That's
all the
worked out great for
negatory that
him.
he can bring up, yeah, that's what
Right.
he's going to throw at you. But
That's the problem with billionaires, though. They make $1 billion, so they assume they know everything. Well, I mean, it's not saying you're dumb, but it doesn't mean you know everything. And I tell you what, man, that just sounds like something he would do.
I got good news and bad news for you, Tom. For the Browns, Denzel Ward was rated the highest rated single cover corner in the NFL since 2023.
Pretty impressive.
The problem is he's always hurt.
And here's my problem. So instead of drafting another corner on the other side to make the most dominant corner combo in the league, and if he's hurt, you still got a guy out there. They went and drafted. I'm gonna call him. I don't even want to call him Fat Boy Slim over here playing the line. He got booed the other day. Did you see that at Browns camp by some kids?
I'm just so. I mean,
they had some kids in a camp, and they asked the kids if they knew him, and they were like, yeah, and they're like, where'd he go to school? And they were like, Michigan, and they all booed him.
Well, there's a lot of people.
Didn't they just get a receiver from Ohio State? They got somebody from Ohio State out there.
Junkins.
So they had him out there, and they asked all the kids, like, do y'all know him? They was like, yeah. They said, where did he go to school? Ohio State. And they all loved him. So, like, there's, like, no fanfare for the dude. I don't even know his name. What's his name? Who did they draft?
Quinshawn Junkins.
No, the white boy. The third overall.
Mason
Instead
Graham.
of Mason Graham. Oh, cute Mason. Instead of having him and Denzel Ward out there together. So there's your good news, bad news on that one.
It's just like when I heard about this Shador Sanders and speeding ticket, and I was off the air. I'm just like, I knew this was coming. I knew you draft this kid. You're drafting a problem. Why do you want to draft a problem? Nobody would touch this kid with a 10-foot pole, right? Because they knew what he was, and who drafts him? Cleveland. I mean, it's just now it's a 5th round pick. You might say, "Come on, Tom, who cares? 5th round pick, blah blah blah." But still, you might get somebody who could play in the 5th round. You might not. You know what I mean? You may have a guy that you doesn't even make your team.
But there's going to be a lot of media circus.
This guy's going to bring like all the Deshaun Watson garbage, and it's just like I'm just tired of you drafting people or bringing in people who bring garbage to the franchise, and then people say, "Oh, look, there's Cleveland. Cleveland going to Cleveland, right? There they go again, drafting a moron, bringing somebody in that's going to embarrass the franchise again." Now I know some people are going to say, "Well, Tom, he's a young man. You were a young man. Were you perfect?" No, I did plenty of stupid stuff like Shador Sanders, but you know what? I wasn't playing for the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
yeah.
You know, I mean that's the difference. You're held to a higher standard, and you know that.
Yeah. Or you should know that.
So, I mean, it's just like, and I'm like, young people make mistakes. I know they make mistakes, but you You talk about Mason Graham. Mason Graham get a ticket for 100 miles an hour? You know, did Quinshawn Junkins get a ticket for 100 miles an hour? So why are we bringing this kid in and all the blank show that's going to come with him, especially because he's angry because he wasn't the number 1 overall pick. So I'm pissed off. So I'm going to get in my car and drive 100 miles an hour because my daddy will get me out of trouble. And look what you got. Again, I was just like, I'm just so tired of this. I'm just like, God, just get some no name from San Diego State that played linebacker in the 5th round. And if he doesn't make the team, so what? He's not going to get a ticket for going 100 miles an hour. So, I mean, that's just where I stand on it. It's just like, and I'm just tired of all the internet clickbait too. Shador Sanders should be starting. People are saying he should be starting. It's like, no, he's not going to start. Right. That I've heard some.
You going to trade him?
That's what I've heard. There's some rumors. I'm like, hey.
That's what I've heard.
Who would want him?
Somebody will want him.
But the problem
They didn't want him in the draft.
But here's going to be the problem. Cleveland's going to end up doing better by trading him for somebody that's a lot better. I don't know why.
You know what?
It's going to happen.
I'd trade him for a 7th round pick. Get him out of my building. Yeah. Get his daddy out of my building. And it's like I said, you know, it's not that Deion's kind of funny. I kind of like Deion. He was a great player. Appreciate what he did. But we don't need this. I mean, we got enough problems.
His son is not Deion. Deion proved himself. Deion was on the field and did what he
But
had.
you also have a PR nightmare, and that Nick Chubb is playing for the Houston Texans. You got that nightmare too. You got that to deal with too.
But also,
you know,
Terry, go back to what we were talking about and Kevin's point about why people didn't want to draft Shador during the draft. Trading for him is going to give them the same problem in that trading for Shador Sanders, a head coach automatically has their heir apparent in the vicinity of the franchise because Deion, if the Sanders family's not happy with the direction the franchise is going, Deion just has to drop his name as a potential candidate to replace you.
You're going to get rid of your coach. You're going to bring in Deion Sanders to coach your football team. You're out of your mind. I'm just going to tell you, you're out of your mind to bring that in and bring all that. Now, it might work in college. That ain't going to work in the pros. You know where I'd love to see Deion Sanders coach? The Dallas Cowboys. I would love to see that.
All right, so I got some comments for you guys. After being asked if he would continue to drive at high speeds, quote, I don't know, maybe at times. It's not a big deal to me. You just got to abide by the rules, and that's all. I made a mistake, and I'll live with it. I'm not going to jail or nothing like that. I wasn't drunk. I was just speeding. That's it, said the 23-year-old star back in 2008 when he was driving 101 and 65, Mr. LeBron James. That was not Shador Sanders quotes. That was LeBron at the same age, same streets in Cleveland, going the exact same speed. And that was his comments that he was going to keep doing it whatever he wants.
I understand that there were no consequences to this.
So Cleveland's got to give back their basketball championship now, Tom?
Yeah.
I'm just...
Shador Sanders is not LeBron James.
After we went off on Shador for a minute, I read the quotes from LeBron, same city, same speed, same age. I've never heard anybody say that.
I'm not saying that young people don't make mistakes. I'm saying the Cleveland Browns do not need this right now.
Yeah, he's going to be their starter because he's good, and all the rest of them ain't. They shouldn't have got rid of Nick Chubb. He ain't going anywhere for 7th round pick. Y'all were silly.
You've got a Deion man crush. That's all this is about. This is another one of your man.
The dude's
crushes.
good. He's good.
If he's good, why is he a 5th round pick? because he's not that good. I'm not saying he's bad, but I'm saying that if they could trade him, get him out of the building. Let somebody else deal with this headache.
I care one.
I know you don't care, but I do.
The speed. If he's drinking, yes, but if he's not, he's just speeding.
Well,
he's going over 100
I
miles.
I would want to say the same thing, Kevin. But what if he hits somebody?
But until he hits somebody you love.
I know that. That's always
it's
until
just
thing.
speeding until he kills somebody.
I know that, but again, if the speed limit's 70, and you're going, most people going 85 anyway.
He can spin anything, can he?
No, I'm just saying, like
he just spin anything.
This isn't tradable offense, is what I'm saying. Because you got.
I'm not
people get
saying
speeding tickets
that.
all the time.
I'm not saying it's already all the shenanigans, and then I'm just saying Cleveland doesn't need this. Another team could absorb it a little bit better.
What's going to do? Ruin the Super Bowl chances?
No, it's just like if you never get it going in the right direction, man.
The problem is Deshaun Watson's on the roster. I have way more of a problem that
Yeah, I
Deshaun
have a
Watson's on the
problem with that
roster
too.
and Nick Chubb's in Houston than I do that he was speeding.
I got a problem with all three.
At the end of the day, they got this sorry dude they drafted from Michigan.
I got a problem with all four. I mean, it's just like, man, it's just like I just don't know what you idiots are doing up there. I mean, some of the picks, I don't like saying, the running back, I forgot the running back's name from Tennessee that they got. That might be a steal because he's supposed to be pretty good. He probably fell a little bit further than they thought he was. Junkins should be pretty good. We'll see. So it's not all bad, but it's just the quarterback situation and this, and now Nick Chubb.
So let's say you're a player, let's say you are a free agent, Tom. Would you want to go to Cleveland at all, knowing
No.
the way they treated Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb? Because they
What do you mean they paid?
well,
Myles
there
Garrett.
was a big argument about it. It wasn't a straight up thing about it.
Okay. Oh yeah.
There was
yeah.
trade rumors.
Paying
and all
somebody
that stuff.
crazy money's never gone bad for Cleveland before, has
No,
it?
what I'm saying is that if you look at them, be like,
no,
if I
just
go
write
there-
big checks, that solves all
hold on,
their
Tom.
problems.
If I go there, are they going to want to give me a long term money type contract, unless
I don't know what your
they're-
point is. They did it with Watson, and it blew up in their face.
why didn't
And
they do it with Nick Chubb? Is what I'm saying. Why would you do it with a franchise player? You're doing it with Deshaun Watson, but you won't do it with Nick Chubb.
They've got to know something about his health, about his medical records that other teams don't.
You mean the Texans were in the playoffs last year? Like, yeah, we'll take Nick Chubb. Like, that one's stupid.
Well,
I think
stuff
it's-
like that makes me mad because Dallas sat there again with Nick Chubb available again. Somebody to put in our backfield, and we don't go get him neither.
I think Nick Chubb's got a good chance of being comeback player of the year. With
Terry,
his
we had
work-
this
with
argument
his-
last
with his
year about
work
Derrick
ethic.
Henry, and you said they didn't need him.
He probably will, Tom. I mean, that's you're 100%. If he gets the
Work-
carries, I just don't know if he's going to get the
ethic,
carries down
dude.
there.
Dude, nothing says work ethic like Nick Chubb. You
Well,
don't
he
see-
only got what, $4 million?
I don't
And
know.
incentives?
But you don't see Nick Chubb making stupid Instagram videos. Guy goes to work, man. I mean, he's a throwback.
Oh,
he's a throwback.
the Chubb thing is the one that bothers me more than anything.
And that's why you want him in the locker room.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing, like if you have great work ethic and you suck, it's still hard. If you're Rudy, okay, you got a great work ethic.
Speak
but
of
you suck.
locker room.
But if you're Nick Chubb and you're the work ethic
And
and it translates to success.
you've got a
But-
resume that
yeah.
can kind of back it up.
Yeah.
And
Well,
a past resume.
I want to say something. You talk about work ethic in a locker room. Jameis Winston's going over like glory up in the Giants. They say that's the best thing that we ever did.
That just speaks to what the Giants had before Jameis
Well, that's
Winston
what
got
I'm
there.
They said you'll be surprised
lack
at how
thereof.
many people that just stop and listen to what he's
Well,
got to say.
you see-
I
Because
stop and
they-
listen to what he says. all
They
the
stop and listen to what he said because they're like, is he smoking weed?
Well, that's what I'm thinking myself,
now?
but I'm like, he
Uh,
had so much
Terry
praise for
said
the
that though,
stuff.
but no kidding. Some of the Saints, there's rumors as far as the Saints go that their players want Jameis back because after Carr retired, they don't have a quarterback, and so bring
Shador
Jameis
Sanders to the Saints. Hey, we got your quarterback. We'll send him there right now. Hey, Shador, there's plenty of nightlife.
Back. We've been looking for a
bars,
quarterback
women.
for years. We get one. He goes a little bit fast on the interstate. Now Tom's ready to get rid of him and go back to no more quarterbacks. What are we gonna do, Tom?
Flacco.
At least I don't see Dylan Gabriel bringing more negative attention to the Cleveland Browns.
Whoever makes more touchdown passes, is all I care about at this point. It's time to go gangster with it, Tom. Quit worrying about your what
Okay.
people think. It's time,
Okay, Kevin.
It's time to just get real with it. Like we just can't just sit and do this the whole. We got Deshaun Watson. What you talking about?
Shador Sanders might be the Chappelle show when keeping it real goes wrong.
The problem
At some point, you just gotta quit paying nice.
the problem is you just can't lure a big time quarterback to Cleveland.
if I'm Myles Garrett, he signed that big deal before the draft, right?
Yeah.
If I'm Myles Garrett, how do I feel about signing that deal and then them having the draft that they had?
He's already come out also and said that Chubb coming back was part of their conversation too.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
He specifically said
I
Yeah.
think he.
You know what I would
They
tell
told me Chubb was
you know
coming
what-
back.
See,
you know-
the ownership is not worried about that. We got you to
got you
sign.
locked in.
We don't give
Yep.
a crap what you thought about
Turn on
Chubb.
whatever lines they are.
It's
man.
all
Yeah.
it's all about money anyway. So I mean, it's just
I think you got an Andrew Berry problem. You're the GM.
you know what? I used to have a lot of faith in him, but some of these recent, I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're doing. I mean, your first 2 draft picks. I'm like, I know that I know, you've said it many times, Kevin, that look at the defense. If you want to know if a team has a chance to go to the Super Bowl, look at their defense. And you are absolutely right on that. But the 2 guys they drafted to play defense.
Tom, y'all known that for 60 years.
No, but he emphasizes it, though. He actually emphasizes that and looks it up and not just say things like you do. He
Well,
actually,
I'm telling the truth.
He actually looks
I
up
mean-
stuff and says, hey, the last 5 Super Bowl champions had at least a 5. He actually looks it up and proves it.
I've looked it up.
Unlike you, it's like,
It said no Cleveland Brown
my
has ever
daddy told
touched
me
the
that
grass on
defense is
Super Bowl.
important. He actually looks things up and
This
and
is
proves it.
looked up. It's proof.
But he actually does it. You don't. That's what I'm saying.
Holy moly.
He emphasized. No, there's plenty of people out there. Kevin will tell you, plenty of stupid people out there say draft a wide receiver every year, right, Kevin?
Oh my god.
You know, I mean, there's plenty
See
of people
Carolina
out there.
Panthers.
Right. You know, there's plenty of people say, oh, draft the best running back available. When, okay, we're going to do this old school. Research says build the defense, but the 2 pieces they got the guy from Michigan who's throwing up there in practice, and they got another guy.
He's just
And they,
not
and they,
used
dra-
to
they
that kind
basically
of work.
drafted Rudy from
He's
UCLA,
just not
right?
used to that kind
They,
of
bas-
work.
they basically drafted Rudy. Okay? I mean, I know the guy had a great career at UCLA, but y'all drafted a boy's throwing up and Rudy. Those are your first 2 picks. Okay. All right. Let's see how this goes. I may be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, because evaluating talent, I will say evaluating talent is a skill. But I don't know what they've done here.
Tom, when I was coaching basketball, I had kids that threw up.
When you had
Why?
coaching,
Because I put them through something else that I wanted at the end
you're a
of the year
professional
that we're
athlete.
going to be.
This ain't the Lincolnton YMCA.
It ain't the
Terry.
YMCA.
Tom.
This ain't the Lincoln YMCA.
That's what
This
I'm
professional
saying.
football.
All of a sudden,
Terry.
you put
Oh, he's
somebody through
throwing up.
something.
Oh, little Johnny
they've
threw
never
up
had
at the
to do.
Lincoln YMCA. I made my
Hold on.
players.
That's not
Hold on.
what had happened.
Tom.
Hey,
That's-
welcome
That's
to the
great.
Tom and Terry
That's
corner.
great. The
part of the
Junction
show.
boys over here made a 7-year-old throw up.
Tom.
And we're comparing that
What
to a
the heck is
professional.
he talking
What the heck
about?
are you talking about? You're talking about 7-year-olds throw up, so it's okay if a grown man who was drafted, what was he drafted? 5th overall. Throws up. It's okay because little Johnny at the Lincoln
Boy, I
YMCA
sure
also
am glad I
throws
got
up.
back in here.
That's
But Tom, it's
that's
like
the
this.
stupidest thing.
That's
ever.
not what I was even
Tom.
saying.
Yes, you were. That's exactly what you were saying.
Tom, I'm actually.
In
gonna-
1978, Billy threw up after I made him run suicides.
Tom,
I mean, it's just so dumb.
I'm gonna give you a story actually that's gonna
God
side
almighty.
with Terry though.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. And
That's what I'm saying.
And
Everybody's
JP, turn your
unlike
mic
you.
off.
I don't mind.
in the NBA championships back in the '60s, their Celtics were warming up, and Red Auerbach stops them warming up, like, y'all, let's
Uh-huh.
go back in the locker room. And they go back in the locker room. He says, Bill's not thrown up yet. Bill Russell had to throw up before every big game, or Red Auerbach wouldn't let the Celtics take the floor. Bill Russell threw up before every game.
That's what they say.
That's
what they
nerves.
say.
That's not.
That's nerves. It's not that you're fat and out of shape.
Did you read that, Tom?
Read what?
I don't know. You said you looked it up and you read it.
What are you even talking about? I don't mind. This is crazy. This is insanity in this room every side. I can't believe I get every I get up. I don't know if I can take it again. I mean, it's just we're comparing professional athletes to the YMCA. That's what
They
people
ain't even
do,
nobody
though.
even mentioned the YMCA except you.
No, you're the one over there. Well, I coached in 1981. I mean,
Depends on what you put them
where'd
through,
you-
Tom.
Okay, not YMCA, the Optimist. Is that what you were? The Optimist
No,
Club?
that's not even
Parks
where
and
I
Rec?
was in.
Yeah, where were you then?
You
Go
know,
ahead. Go ahead.
High
Tell-
school. I had
Oh,
kids. I mean,
high
you know, it's
school.
a difference.
Okay, high school. Because Johnny
You prepare
threw up.
them
Johnny
for
threw
what
up
you want
at
them
JV
to do.
basketball practice.
at the
Mason
end of
Graham can
games.
throw up. It's fine.
At the start, you prepare them for what you want them to do. Will they be prepared when it gets to the fourth quarter?
It
and
is your
everything
job
is on
to
the
be
line.
in shape already.
You know, well, how does you? Well, you know how that goes. How many kids in high school only prepare
He's not a
when
high
this
school
comes
kid.
around.
He's a
I know he
professional
is.
athlete.
I know he is. But maybe he's facing something he has not had to face.
He went to the University of Michigan and played
Well,
for Jim Harbaugh.
Well, somewhere along the line they didn't
so you're
teach him
telling me
enough.
Jim Harbaugh takes it easy on Mason Graham so he don't throw up, but the Cleveland Browns made him throw up. That's what you're saying.
That's basically what I'm saying. Yeah, he went through something there he couldn't handle. And we're also talking about a team who has not seen a Super Bowl or touched the grass.
Touch the grass. We're going back here now. Now
Well,
here's
All right,
where
here
we're
you go.
going.
Here you go, Tommy.
Program here. Where does he go to school?
Let's all boo our number 5 pick.
Look at him. I got a ring.
That's actually kind of funny.
Why are we stopping the program here? Where does he go to school?
I like it. Here it goes. I got a ring. See, that just shows they got a bunch of fans, the young kids who have no clue what football is. That's all that shows, Tom. That's like you being out there. I bet you were part of that.
That's probably the stupidest thing you've ever said.
Terry, I hate that every week, Tom, you claim that. We can make a reel of Tom saying, that's the stupidest thing you've ever said. All right. That'll do it for our football section, I do believe.
Thank you.
We'll be back for baseball in just a few moments here on KTCBroadcasting.com.
Tee it up for a great golf experience at the Cherryville Golf and Country Club.